Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. So you've seen over the past week of Christmas and New Year's. This week I like to do kind of a little bit of a special thing, and the car deal didn't really bring in a lot of views last year, so I figured, hey, let's do something a little different. We've got the y'all seen the parts already for the garage done, and I want to show it everything to y'all. Over the past 2 years, I have not really been able to get out here in the off season because of home renovations, and this year I have been, and it's really really been good to get everything back in order. You can see behind me that the backyard is next. At this point in time when I'm filming, I'm not sure if I will have the backyard finished in time to do another video on it around this time of year. It may be coming a little bit later. We'll see how the cards sort out, because we have a lot to work on back here. It's going to be a progression of months, because I'm going to be fixing things while I'm cleaning things up, and hopefully by the end of the winter I'll have it like I want to outside, just like I've got it like I want to inside now. And so for those of y'all who have been watching, you've seen me do the file cabinet deal that I got for $2. Kind of put that in a loosely how I wanted to. Left y'all hanging for this video. We'll show y'all the lighting, and I'm also going to show y'all what I did, especially on the side of the garage where I had that workbench that was extremely long, and then what I've also added in there mostly for storage, and still how much room I've got in here to work, which is fantastic. My garage is really deep, even though it's only a car and a half, and really helps that I can put a bunch of stuff in the back for storage and parts and whatnot, and then still have a bunch of room in the front to work. The goal here was to make my garage basically, professional is not the right word, because I'm not a professional at this. I don't do this for a living, but make it a garage to where, like, if somebody comes, they see that it's an actively working garage that looks nice, and the projects that are in it are the ones that I'm actively working on. So that's the goal. I think I've accomplished it with that, so I'll let y'all be the judge. We're gonna go ahead. I'll start off by showing you the lean-to and showing y'all the shed, because those have transformed quite a bit as well. And then at the very end, I will show y'all the garage. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this series so far this week, of just me overhauling things. Y'all see it in every video. I figured y'all would find an interest in it, and so that's why I decided to film it for y'all here over the holiday, the week of the holidays, essentially. So hope y'all enjoy the final tour of everything being finished. And if you have any questions or ideas or things that you've done in your garage, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. Let's go ahead and start the tour. Alright guys, well, what I'll do is I'll start in the smaller buildings and then do the big reveal in the garage at the end, just for anticipation. Here's the lean-to, though. Let me explain everything that I've done in here. I haven't put the items back in. That this is basically pretty much going to be storage. A lot of the items that you still see in the driveway here are going to go back in here. A lot of the smaller items, at least, maybe a rider or two. But what I ended up doing, if you've been watching the series, you noticed that I had a workbench that was the full length in my garage, and I basically cut it in half. What I did for the second half of it, it was too nice to just break apart and take to the dump, or save the wood off of it, or just save the wood off of it for something different. So what I did is I used some of the wood to reinforce what I have left in the garage. But the other pieces, I left one shelf, reversed the legs so that it's higher on the bottom, so that I can fit things like pressure washers and stuff under it, and I'm going to use the top shelf to store 2-cycle items, just like I'm doing here. That was the one. There was a couple of hang-ups that I was trying to figure out how I was going to accomplish what I was going to do, and one of them was, what in the world do I do with 2 cycles to to get them off the floor so that I can have the maximum amount of floor space possible in this lean-to in particular. And that was the solution that I came up with. What I might end up doing is I have some more 2x4s that I took off from the top shelf here, and what I might do is screw a few of them so that I have a little bit higher of a, I don't know, so they go a little bit higher on this bench. So I'd screw them kind of on the shelf and let them go higher so that I could just kind of stack the 2 cycles on top of each other here, because right now it's kind of, can only really get 1 or 2, and you can see that what 6 or 7 items have basically taken up the whole bench. So this is my 2 cycle storage area. But like I put pressure washers fit perfectly under there. I can fit push mowers under there. I'll keep my oil and stuff under there now as well, just so that I have better shelf space here. Keep getting things off the floor but still being able to store stuff underneath it. Best solution that I could figure out. You can see that a lot of containers and stuff have gone away. A lot of shelving and storage have gone away, and you'll see where those went at the end of the video. One of them went into the small shed that I have back out here. The other one went into the garage, and they're much more useful. Like I said, I wanted to do this to be almost all storage for lawn equipment, etc. And nothing really changed up top here in terms of putting engine covers and stuff on. The blowers are still hanging out there. Gas cans still hanging here. Riding mower belts or various belts are still there. That's another solution that I'm trying to come up with, something a little bit better, but I haven't figured it out quite yet. It works fine for being right there for right now. Well, we got gas tanks, pull rope covers. The rest of this, I'm probably going to sort out my tires out here for the ones that are salvageable and put them inside so that they don't get weathered anymore, because a couple years of them being outside would probably trash them. So that's my purpose. I think I'm going to try and the rest of this wall right here is going to be all tires. You see I have a couple of new ones there, one of them that's smaller but good, and then I consolidated all my engines into this one little area here. And I truthfully need to go just sort out through those in the off season as well. I just kind of put them there for now because I know that I could use some parts on them. Some of them are good, some of them are blown, and it's nice to just have them to rob a part or two off of if I need to. So the rest of it's just, like I said, going to be tires here. And then on the floor here, we're just going to have a bunch of mower storage, equipment storage. Probably going to be full to the brim still, but that's okay. That's what it's going to be. The wheel horse, we're going to be getting that thing out sooner rather than later. I would love to get that all done here in the off season. Be a really cool project. And then my personal Husqvarna. The Husqvarna will live in here, probably toward the back, because I don't really use it, because I constantly fix riders. And then I have a tiller, my 2-cycle tiller in here. So that's the lean-to. Put my garden tools and stuff kind of on screws and whatnot in here as well, so they have easy access. The shovels and the rakes that I had on the corner over here, I just went and put under the house because I don't use them enough to really need them to be in this area. It doesn't hurt for me to walk a little bit. So may add an outlet or two in this lean-to. Y'all saw that I've done the lighting in the past year. We'll see, just so that I could have some power over here in case I need power over here. That would be an easy thing to do because that is a live wire running here, and then it goes live wire to a switch right here. So I could easily put a switchable outlet as well. We'll see what I end up doing there. Little small things, nothing crazy. Let me move on to the shed. As you can see, the backyard is going to be coming up in a later series. and we'll move on to the shed, and then we'll go to the garage. So the shed here has actually transformed quite a bit as well. I don't know how much I showed it on camera, but all I did was basically, this was just a catch-all for things, mostly for engines. I literally just would throw engines in here, and then I'd be stepping all over top of them and stuff. I think the sun is terrible right now, but so I have sorted all this out tremendously so that I have space to get to everything that I need to get to in here, and it's working out really well so far. So you can see I still have some engines on the floor, mostly rider engines that are, like I said, some are good, some are blown, some are just apart, and just some are taken off of items that never would have ran, or that I never would have fixed, but I felt like I had a good engine to work with. So this shed does leak. Like, I got it for $100 and hauled it over here last year at some point, and so it's just a matter of using it really. More leaks so on this side. This side stays fairly dry. That's just residual oil from something. But yeah, so what I did here is, you'll notice this came from the lean-to. This actually came from outside. I wanted to get some of this stuff from outside inside, and so that's what has happened. In here, smaller engines like horizontal shaft engines that fit in there pretty well. On top of it, I have gas tanks. All of my lawnmower wheels now reside in here as well. I got them on the shelves here in some of these containers. They're separated by makes and sizes, and got a couple more in these containers right here. I threw out 2 metal trash cans worth of wheels alone when I did this, and I still have that many left. Don't really need any more. Some engine covers on the shelf here, a pull rope recoil that hasn't made it into the lean-to, and then a few transmissions. I have I guess I got a Craftsman transmission in here, and a couple of high-low transmissions. So that's really nice to have. I think it might be a hydro transmission right there. Don't remember what it even came off of, but well, you never know. This shelf was kind of so all I did was take some bungee straps to the shed itself, and now, I mean, that thing is about as sturdy as it's gonna get. I did it on both sides. Again, engine on the floor. These 4 tires are for garden tractors. I got those earlier this year, I think. They'll fit the Cub Cadet and the Craftsman GT that I have out there, so they'll be getting put to use, or they may be selling with the units. I'm not quite sure. Organized my seats. Threw out a couple of seats that were really, really bad. Some steering wheels. A lot of these MTD plastic front ends that seem like they want to go bad, and the rear ends. So I've got a few of those just because I know that I see those around a whole lot. Decided to keep those. And then another hang up, I was trying to figure out what to do with my cable setups, and ended up just putting all my cables in this little potato bin that I've had in here after I found that on the side of the road. Works pretty well. Keeps them as organized as they can when it comes to cables, and I mean, it works out okay, I think. I don't have any power in here or anything like that. This is just residuals from when I got the shed. So that's it in here. Now we'll go ahead and go to the garage and show you the big transformation in there, the one that y'all all been waiting for. Alright guys, are y'all ready for this? I'm excited. I just ended up filming the end of part 2 with the lights, and boy did they make a difference. Let's open this thing up. Let's show y'all what this garage looks like. There it is. First off, let me show you from the front side here the difference in the lighting that I added and having it not, and having without it. You can see the difference, pretty telling, right? I know I can pretty distinctly on here. So let's go through this. There's a couple small things that I needed to sort out. But y'all seen how I've changed my lean-to and changed my shed out here. We do need to do the backyard still. That's going to come in a future video. But man, this is done and I am so pleased with it. We have more storage than I currently need, which is a huge plus. So it's fantastic. Let's start with just check out how much more light we've got right here. And so that's going to help in filming videos, especially in the evenings, especially when there are times of year where I don't have a lot of daylight in the evenings, in the wintertime and in the fall. Now my lights here are just simple $15 motion light fixtures with 1300 lumen 5000K outdoor floodlights, and I put 4 of them right here. 2 on this side, 2 on that side. It looks like they cover the ground fairly well here. So, and are so much brighter. So we've got what, 2600 lumens of fixture, which you're talking about over 10,000 lumens just shining the front area of the garage here with the floodlights. Looks really good, especially with the 5000K. Most of the garage is 4000K. Those fixtures right there are 5000, the little separate fixtures. But that's, that alone is a huge transformation. So what I ended up doing, I think I showed most of this on video, but I didn't show it cleaned up. Still got a couple of small things to put up, but it's good enough for me to show y'all on camera for this final reveal. So on this wall, we're going to have our jack stands, and our jack live right here, my 1.5 ton. My 3 ton is going to live back there in the back because I don't have to use that very much, mostly for the truck and for mowers that need higher lift. I use them a lot to jack the front of them up so that I can get under there with a stubby impact and change the blades without having to get my my legit mower jack out, which is a little cumbersome. But toolbox is right here, top and bottom. I'll probably move the moving blankets at some point. My electronics cart, which I can pull out, it has a plug in it as well, so I have power to that. I can plug into here. When I added the switch, I don't think I showed it on camera, but I added the conduit in here, and I added this switch complex box. Actually came out of my shed because it doesn't have power going to it. I had an outlet from inside, a switch from inside, and it works just fine. So that's perfect. It fits the rest of the garage, and we've got, like I said, the conduit and stuff going up there too, so it looks like it's supposed to be in here. It's just not painted white like the rest of the garage, but it's a garage, y'all, a working garage at that. So here's the bench that I fixed and a push mower that I'm going to work on. Again, the stuff that I'm just going to be working on should be in this garage. I put my angle grinder right here on the corner so that I can have, this is what I use the most, honestly, for blades and whatnot, to sharpen them or to grind down whatever. I've got that tied into the current power strip that I have here. And while I'm at it, let's turn this light on too, just so that we show all the lights that we've got in here. Tire changer I've had for a while. I've put the tire changer in here, bolted everything down, so that I can change lawnmower tires easier. The hardware I kept right there, along with my ultrasonic cleaner, my wiring kit, my impact tools, pans for carburetors. Underneath I have a good 5 horsepower engine and a couple of empty buckets that I can put parts and nuts and bolts in on a particular project that I'm working on. Those are the nut and bolt container that I did. The welder goes here. This is like bale handles and wheel parts for push mowers. And there's my Mr. Heater that I do need to get fixed before it gets cold. Got it for 25 bucks, and plug it in and nothing happens. So I don't know if like it's a contact thing or something along those lines. My chainsaw, my hedge trimmers, that's the best place for them to go. I got a grease gun and then my grilling items right there in the back. The batteries, for the most part, the batteries are going to mostly go onto this shelf here. They're just there right now because I took a bunch of them out of a bunch of mowers out there. I'll show you my charging area back here in the back in just a minute. The workbench itself, so I was having an issue with the vise getting pulled up out of the workbench. And that's mostly because this workbench was just nailed down. So what I ended up doing is I ended up taking the second half of the workbench that y'all saw in the lean-to. I took the top portion of that off and doubled up the wood here on the top and took 3-inch screws and just screwed it in all over the place here. So this thing is not, I mean, like I'm lifting up, when I was lifting up on this originally, it would just come right off. So that's not going anywhere now. Same with the tire iron. I mean, I can just push and the whole bench moves with that. So that's super. I like the way that I have my wrenches and everything set up already, so I kept that as it is. This was rounded. I just left the top portion square whenever I overlaid the wood and screwed it down. Wasn't no need to try and cut around it. Shouldn't be jabbing my stomach or anything in there. This light's always been here. I just haven't had the workbench cleaned off enough to really use it, honestly. So this will be kind of my main work area now. And what I've also done is I've added, well, I've brought this HiPA Tough 4-foot bench from under my house because I was thinking I was originally going to use that as a work area, and that never really panned out. And this thing had just been sitting down there. I got this thing for like $49 or something. I mean, I couldn't leave it sitting there for that price, especially right after I moved into this house. So that's why I even got it. My vacuum cleaner lives here. This is a bunch of like serviceable parts, like not primer bulbs, but diaphragms, fuel filters, and things along that nature that I put in there that are readily accessible, so that I just have to pull them out. I'll show you. So I just had to pull them out here, and I've got access to like fuel filters, shut-off switches, flywheel keys, diaphragms, even got some safety switches over there, and a little bit of room to grow if we need to put a few more items in there. So that's fantastic. My friend Jesse, that was one of the containers he gave me when I got a bunch of parts from him. Underneath in this drawer, I've just got a few drill bits and, you know, common E-clips and R-clips and self-tappers and bolt sets, spring sets, drill bits, riveters, miniature drill bits as well. And then on the workbench itself here, everything has a home, which is super. Blade balancer, some Q-tips, a couple of tape measures. There's a room, carb wire, pencils, pens, put a magnetic strip. There's my lighter to where I burn pull ropes, ends, knife, O2 sensor stuff, which I may or may not be using depending on how my Honda does. Put a screw in here and just put my scissors there. This has a little bit of a pegboard to it, so I could get some, put a screw in there and hang some more stuff if I need to. Left my drill bits up here for now. I have an oiler here, respirator. Didn't really know what to do with that, so that's just kind of hanging out there for now. And then my cup that I use a lot of times for my, what would that be called? Ultrasonic cleaner. So it's just hanging out there for now. It'll probably hang out inside the ultrasonic cleaner. But everything, like I said, everything has a home. It can be cleared off. Like I can clear the bench off and everything will have somewhere to go. What has really changed the game here, though, I can put things on top of these file cabinets if I need to. I am going to end up putting power over from this power strip somehow and get it over to the workbench here, because this does have a light on it as well to shine down. So we've got a lot of, the lighting is much improved in here. From the front where I have the filming space to the workbenches themselves. So we're in super condition there. This corner didn't really change. It's just kind of wood storage. I have cornhole boards, generator, bike items. This is where I just kind of catch my tarps and stuff too, as well as my press. Everything, I tried to work around what I had hanging on the walls, if that makes sense. So nothing on the walls really had to come off. Like this didn't have to come off. My V-shape hang all that I have, the primer bulbs didn't come off. And then my bolt area didn't have to come off there as well, nor the cabinets or anything over there on the other side of the garage. So I've worked around that. One other thing I wanted to show y'all is that I put some screws in to the side of the cabinet and have my like my wire whenever I install on-off switches for push mowers or something along those lines, when the bale cables are bad and the mower's too bad to put a new cable on. I just put the switches and the wires in. And then this just kind of stores some miscellaneous common parts, like those MTD blade nuts that I sometimes have to cut off, and a few other things. Coming on this side, you can see on top, this is an oil fluids area that I have done. I'll have to remember to show you all the cabinets as well, just to show you all what I've done in there. I'm letting all the oil and the fluids, I probably will never have more oil than this because I bought a ton of oil on clearance, so this is about as full as you're going to see. Transmission fluid, car oil, this is hydraulic stop leak, you got some coolant over there, washer fluid, simple green, slime, gear oil, things like that. So these three cabinets will probably house most of my oil and fluids and stuff. So adding some shelf space in addition to the cabinet space. But you can see I've kind of labeled everything as good as I could to try and keep things together. Spark plugs, gas caps, fuel line, pull rope. You open it up and everything is just in here, nice and organized. These file cabinets came with a separate organizer as well. And then, you know, just keep on going down. We've got starter solenoids, ignition switches, tape. Just kind of put those in the same area. Got a couple of drawers of air filters, new air filters right there. Air filters that are still good that I could use on mowers that aren't quite as nice. And then I have a bunch of ignition coils and a couple of fuel pumps there. Was able to put some of my power tools in a couple of drawers, chargers, hand tools, springs, linkages. Even got a couple of empty drawers still. Have a couple of miscellaneous rider parts and push mower parts. Pressure washer hoses, air filter covers, some exhausts. I mean, belts. I mean, I had 32 drawers to fill. I filled 29 of them. So I had a lot to organize, and it ended up working out really well. Pulleys and spindles down here on the bottom. I turned these last two file cabinets kind of into my battery charging area. Put these, we got my wife some new floor mats for her car, and these Lexus ones were pretty rough from the previous owners, just due to age and just due to mileage, honestly. And I got my outlet right there to hook the battery chargers to. I've got one hanging out on the charger. It was just going to charge overnight. We're going to see if this one holds a charge. There's my bolts, and again, I didn't have to move my license plates or my Craftsman sign or anything along those lines, which is super. On the top here, these containers are actually too tall to fit in between the shelves, so I had to put them on the top. We've got rider exhaust and then also like deck guards and mulch covers. This is all of like the 2-cycle stuff for weed eaters that I may need. A lot of like string and heads and stuff along those lines. And then just tire tubes. There's some Kohler Courage parts that were a little bit too big to put in a drawer. Some more like push mower stuff when it comes to like discharge chutes and guards and things like that. Bird seed and stuff goes right here. I have a window AC that if I needed it, never really use it unless the power goes out. The window setup here doesn't really isn't really set up for me to put an AC in, and it would kind of be a little bit underpowered for what I have here. But I decided to put it on this side, that way I didn't have to, that shelf that came out of the lean-to, so I didn't have to move the V-shaped hang-all and move the bolts and hardware deal going on over there. Made an aisle so that I can open the drawers up as far as I can for each of them, but kept it as narrow as possible so I wouldn't impede too much on the front of the garage. And you can see I still have probably a good 20 feet, 18 to 20 feet from this point all the way up. So we have a lot of room to work on stuff. Again, I want this to be a working garage and not a storage area. So, move my car wash stuff. There's some sports items like frisbees and a basketball in this cabinet now. Some gloves for right here. These are a bunch of those seat covers that I bought for really cheap if I need to just do a quick seat cover on a cheap mower, which I do more often than you would think. Then car air filters, and this is all the new carburetors and compression releases and stuff that I get that I don't use immediately. There's a blade engage cable for a Troy-built rider or an MTD rider. So that, and then my tools my power tools are in the same spot. I moved my clips over here to this area. I might move them back depending on what I do. Safety glasses and this light, I just need to put some batteries in. Got a little keychain collection going on up there at the top as well. This is turned into oil filters and for mostly mowers, and then just kind of spray paints and a little bit of adhesive stuff and some more fluids up there like brake fluid and things like that. That's more easily available to fit. Bar and chain oil, that'll fit more easily into this this cabinet. So toolboxes have remained unchanged. Where I put my carb sprays and stuff have remained unchanged. I had kind of gotten the front of the garage like I had wanted to, where having the toolboxes in the front. Cleaned out a lot of stuff in the toolboxes on top and kind of in the bottom. Still could do a little bit, but it's very minimal stuff. It's like about 95 to 97% where I want to be. So that's kind of the tour of everything. Obviously the Honda's still here, and it ain't going anywhere anytime soon either. So that's it. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this garage video up. Alright guys, so that is it. I'm sitting in the garage in the dark in the front of it, and I hope y'all can see me a lot better than before when it was just a bunch of, when I was just a shadow and all the light was behind me. So I'll have to look at the video to see how this ends to see how good the lighting looks, but it looks a lot better on my end, because you used to have this and I can tell visually that it's a lot different. So overall though, I guess I'm just trying to make it work for me the best that I possibly can. Another purpose is everything that you've seen me do in the past, well, now 4 videos, I started with everything already here except for those 8 file cabinets, which I paid $2.40 for, all of them. And then the lights that I did, which I spent around $100 between the fixtures and the lights themselves. And boy, has that made a big difference. Obviously, I had the conduit was here. The electrical wire was already here. Those are compliments of my grandpa, because he has everything and anything and everything in his garage, and he wasn't going to be using all of that wire and conduit. Like I said, everything else was already here. So we did all this for basically $100, $102.40 basically. Scored the file cabinets from a government auction, bought the lights and stuff at Lowe's, and everything else was either here or I was able to get for nothing. So that helped a ton. You could easily get hundreds of dollars in deep into this, and I'm thankful that I only have about 100 in it. So that's super good. I hope that this will help my video quality some, especially in terms of lighting. If I'm going to get out here at night in the evenings and do some stuff, because one of my most infamous videos that I have on the channel is when I level a Craftsman 42-inch deck. The reason why I haven't taken it off is because it's a cash cow for me, so it makes a decent amount of money despite all the hate that I get in the comments about the terrible lighting. I have listened to y'all if you're still watching the video. My videos on the channel here 3.5 years after I made, well, 4 years after I made that video. What do y'all think of it, guys? I figured that y'all see this garage in every video that I do, that y'all would enjoy seeing a little bit of a journey on me transforming everything around here. We still have some work to do, most notably all the machines that I have in the backyard. I have some plans for those. The ones that stay, I have bought a tent, one of them portable canopies to keep some dry storage in the backyard, and that's going to help out some, as well as storage solutions and lean-to. Might keep a rider or two in here, we'll see, but I do want to keep the active projects in here and it basically be just for active projects in this garage. I was tired of having to climb over lawn equipment to get the stuff, and finally had a window to get all that fixed. So guys, thank y'all again for watching. It's because of y'all watching that I have an incentive to make my garage brighter and make it more organized, just to make it look more professional around here, truthfully. Been about 2 years of neglect just because I hadn't had the time to do any of this with home renovations and things like that. Now that I have a fall and a winter to be able to work on things out here, we're going to be getting some things done. Alright? And I'll be happy to have y'all along for the ride. So thank y'all again for watching this video. I hope y'all have enjoyed this week-long special on the garage transformation and the garage overhaul, and I hope that I have done a good job of explaining my thought process as to how I got from where I was to where I am now, in terms of the beginning of what this garage looked like to now after what it looks like. So again, we have some work to do in the backyard. That's going to be in a separate series coming soon that I will release once I fix and have the backyard like I want it to. Alright? Again, you can follow me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, if you would like to email me any feedback or ideas or things that you want to see on the channel, as well as me being on Facebook and Instagram. Ellis Mowers 09 is where I'm at there as well. Thank y'all again. I'll catch y'all on the next video now that we've got a nice garage to work in. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope y'all enjoy the future videos of all this good lighting and all the good stuff that's going to be happening here on the Ellis Mowers YouTube channel. See you in the next one. Take care.